I'm your host, Daniel Powell, and welcome to the Grounded Presence Podcast, a place for exploring authentic identity, deep community, and the constantly evolving journey of learning what it means to be a human. So I'm sure all the fellow parents out there can relate to how crazy the past few weeks have been. Like, this outbreak has just created some really strange logistical problems around our household. And it's forced us to try to find a new normal. And we're still not there yet, but I think we get a little closer every day. We're finding routines, we're finding things to do and ways to have fun. And yeah, it's an adjustment to say the least. So my daughter's 3 years old. And a few weeks ago, this is what her morning routine looked like. Early in the morning, my wife would pop her head into the sleeping girl's room and say, "Time to get up." And then a few minutes later, a groggy toddler stumbles out and in a very tired voice asks for her morning pick-me-up. "Hi. What do you need?"
Could I have some chocolate milk?
And after that, she'd make her way over to the couch where she finishes her drink and eats a little light breakfast as she's curled up underneath her favorite yellow blanket. And then after that, it's a mad dash to get her dressed, get her out the door to daycare, and get mommy and daddy to work on time. But with everything that's unfolded over the past few weeks, everything's just changed, and the morning routine is still similar. You know, she still, as always, requires her cup of chocolate milk. But when she asks for it, she's not groggy because she gets up when she's ready to, and once she's well rested and ready to start the day.
Can I have some chocolate milk, please, Daddy?
So when she comes out of her room in the morning, she is rip-roaring and ready to go. And she immediately starts chatting up a storm. And at this slower pace in the mornings around our house, there's a lot more time to engage in those conversations with her, and it's great. So a few mornings ago, as she's sitting on the couch, taking swigs from her sippy cup full of chocolate milk, my daughter turns to my wife and starts telling her about the show that she wants to watch this particular morning. And she calls it The Money Show.
I do want to watch that show. That money show with the dragons. Yeah. The show about the pants. Very tall pants. She drives her little car. Yeah, the pants and the money. And then the tree was in there.
A tree?
Yeah, that is a money show.
Now, neither me or my wife has any idea what she's talking about. Like, this doesn't sound like anything we've ever watched with her before. And what I didn't catch on tape is she said this show also has the boys, and they go fishing. And we just have absolutely no clue what she's talking about. But eventually my wife gives up and just decides that she must be describing some crazy dream that she had the night before. To be fair, it sounds like a pretty fun dream. So a few days later, we sit down to watch TV as a family. And we flip on the TV. And then she points to the screen. And she says it again. She says, "I want to watch The Money Show. I want to watch The Money Show." And again, me and Amy are just like, what? What is she talking about? But we look at the screen. And what she's pointing to, it's the home screen for all the smart TV apps, you know. And there's a portion of the screen that has a preview that plays when you first log in. And we watch as an advertisement for the new Disney Pixar film, Onward, plays on a little part of the screen. And as it continues, we see everything that she's mentioned in this crazy prior description. It's like, yep, okay, there's the two boys. Okay, they're sitting on top of a van holding sticks. Okay, it looks like they're fishing. Oh, and yet this is the show with the pants. there's this magical pair of pants, and she was just kind of walking around at points in this preview. And it's actually half of a rematerialized person. But hey, in toddler speak, the show with the pants, that's a pretty good description. So she's kind of nailed it so far. So it's got the pants, it's got the boys who are fishing, and all these other little things that she mentions. We see a dragon at some point that she mentioned, and it's like, okay, I see what you mean. I see what you mean now. And we still couldn't decipher why she called it the money show. But at this point, I'm 100% positive that she just picked up on something that Mom and I overlooked in this preview. But after this finishes playing through, I see that it's actually an advertisement that the film is now available for streaming at home. And I just had one of these, I'm just going to call it a pandemic moment, where it just hits me how drastically things have changed out there lately. I mean, this is the new Disney Pixar film we're talking about. It's a movie that was released in theaters at the beginning of March. And weeks later, it's now available for streaming rental into your home. That's just nuts. That's never happened before. But none of us just saw this coming. At least not on this disruptive, widespread scale. And if you had told me a month ago that all movie theaters were going to soon shut down until further notice, I would have just looked at you like you were crazy. And if you had continued to describe the situation and told me that there would be sweeping mandates, shuttering bars, and closing restaurants, I would have just started to inch away from you. Okay. Kind of that thing you do when the crazy person on the street starts talking to you. You want to be nice, but back away slowly. And then if you continued even further, not sensing my hesitancy, but continued to tell me about the coming days and told me that concert tours would be canceled and churches would discontinue their Sunday morning gatherings, and a third of the labor force would be told to stay home, and that the government would be asking everybody not to come within 6 feet of each other if at all possible, all out of the fear of spreading this new disease. Like, I probably would have just interrupted you right there and said, whoa, man, that's some wild stuff. But hey, I just realized that I left my tinfoil hat at home. I really need to rush back and get that right now. Whew, what a nut. But here we are, and everything has changed. And so many of us find ourselves isolated at home, connecting with friends and family and colleagues digitally through phone calls and Zoom meetings. Just what a difference a week or two can make, But there's one thing that hasn't changed through all of this. And that's our need to connect with each other. And this time actually seems to be amplifying that need in all of us. We're a social species. We're pack animals. Like, we're meant to be together. We're meant to be interacting. And we try to be individuals and to differentiate ourselves from one another. But our tribe, our community, it's the water we swim in, and it's what sets the tone for our lives. And when we're physically pulled out of that, it just makes life so difficult. Now, some handle this isolation a lot better than others do. I'm definitely an introvert, but I love being around people. I love hearing stories and I love talking to people. And I think some people are feeling something that's been brought to the surface by these circumstances, that maybe you didn't have community before all this hit. And now it's more glaringly obvious than ever, because now all the comforts and distractions of the daily routine are gone. So over the past probably 4 months, I've been working really hard on a full season about community and what community means in our lives and what it means to us as individuals. And it just seems like such a strange time to be releasing a series like that. At first glance, it did. At first, I was really unsure about releasing this, just thinking, we're all in isolation. What good is a series exploring community? I'm like, no, maybe it's the perfect time for this. Because it's something that's on the forefront of all of our minds right now. Just wanting to get back to those communal spaces that make us feel safe and secure. Or even just wanting to have the freedom to go out and explore and search for those spaces if we didn't have them before. So I am releasing this series on community coming up. And this series is going to have, it's actually going to be a whole season. And it's going to have a few different elements to it. I'm really excited about it. It's a little different than anything I've done before. There are a few, and there's a number of interviews that I've actually recorded ahead of time before all this COVID-19 stuff started hitting. And I was concerned that they wouldn't be relevant in light of the current circumstances. But now, I'm looking forward to going back and listening to all these interviews with you in a different light and seeing how the weight of them may have shifted. I'm sure different things are going to pop out to me that speak more strongly to where we're at right now that I may not have noticed even when I was having these conversations. It's time to blaze ahead, see what the future holds. And I hate the situation that we all find ourselves in right now. But I'm really excited to see how this series will take shape and evolve, as the world continues to change around us. So if you're interested in community and if you're interested in being more deeply connected with those around you, while also maintaining a deep connection to yourself, you're really going to dig this series. You're really going to dig this season. There's some cool interviews. As I've been describing it, I've been turning over every rock that I think has anything to do with community. And it's been a lot of fun. So I'll be releasing the official first episode in a week or two. And we'll officially kick off this brand new season, which is carrying the title Craving Community. And we'll dive right into everything then. But for now, stay strong out there, stay safe, and hey, keep your distance. Respect everybody and love everybody around you well. I'll see you soon. Well, right before I released this episode, I finally realized why Sierra was calling it The Money Show. It's because when she was pointing to the preview for the streaming rental, she pointed to it and she said, I want to watch that show.
I want to watch the show.
And then my wife and I both said, Sierra, we can't watch that one. That one costs money. Well, that's all for today. Thanks for listening. And to stay up to date with all the latest information about the podcast, make sure to subscribe to the show. You can also follow the show on Facebook and Instagram @The Grounded Presence.